Brought to you by Standard Bank, the bank for entrepreneurs. Standard Bank. Moving forward.
Welcome to The Growth Engines, the show that features entrepreneurial big and small businesses working together to lead the economy through excellence. I'm Pavlo Fatidis. Over the years, the local apparel manufacturing industry has been ravaged by competition from China, Turkey, and Vietnam, amongst others. Through a mix of cheaper labor or better quality products, the value basket from these destinations has left the local industry in tatters. In such cases, it's only an entrepreneurial response that can raise an industry from the ashes. As you will see in this episode, a coordinated entrepreneurial response can go well beyond that. Entrepreneurship is not the domain of the business owner only. It's an attribute that manifests in attitude and action. It sees opportunity where others don't and then acts to make it happen. Because it's people that make entrepreneurship happen, it's found in big and small businesses, owners and employees. Its impact is amplified when a big business customer and a small business supplier, both driven by entrepreneurs, collaborate to rebuild what was lost. Take a look at this.
From downtrodden and on the verge of closure to a thriving business. TradeCall Investments Apparel is a major clothing manufacturer in Cape Town that emerged out of Sedal Apparel in 2014. The former business faced impending closure amid cheaper imports and high duties on material in a waning clothing and textile manufacturing industry. Herman Pillay was approached by the South African Clothing and Textile Union to revitalize the company to save about 2,300 jobs. Seeing talent and passion from employees and building support from retailers, Pillay saw an opportunity to change the business model, convince over 2,000 employees to stay, and develop TCI Apparel.
See, over the years, there was huge retrenchments that were made, and the staff were always in fear of that. And I had to convince them that if they choose to remain at the company, I will create them a sustainable model. And we won, some good support from the retailers of South Africa, who we are deeply grateful to for the sustainability of this business. And the staff, you couldn't have asked for better staff. We grew employment from 2,260 on the 1st of April 2014 to 2,930 by December 2014.
TCI Apparel now manages the production process from design concepts to manufacturing and through to distribution. Its training colleges are receiving full FET college accreditation, focusing on skills development, particularly in rural areas, and making training more attractive to young people. Overall, Pillay says despite negative perceptions, this industry can succeed in South Africa.
I think there's a lot of potential in South Africa, and I believe in South Africa. And I believe that if we as South Africans make a concerted effort to look within, we can really make this a proud nation and a stable nation. And we can impact society in a positive way. And I feel that as business owners and as entrepreneurs, if we put our focus to our homeland, and if we put our focus to the people in our communities, the result of that will be unanimous in regards to sustainability and stability in our economy.
Herman, happy birthday.
Thanks a lot, Pavlo. Good to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So listen, people must have thought you were completely mad to take on the turnaround of a business with a 40, 50-year legacy that had literally collapsed in the face of China and Vietnam and Thailand and wherever else we get our clothing. What made you do it?
Yeah, I had those comments on many occasions. I think if you really look at it, where other people see disaster, I saw opportunity. being a firm believer in our industry and in South Africa, I saw the potential with the clothing and textile industry to take it to the next level and to resurrect the alien clothing industry from our competitors across the seas.
What were the three biggest things you did? Because here you are, you arrive at the business. You have a very short period of time within which to get the business back on track. You've got shareholders, and quite an active shareholder in this instance, looking at you saying, listen, guy, you've got to get this thing moving. There are a lot of jobs at stake. What were the three big things you did first off?
I think the first big thing I had to do was I had to assess the situation in regards to our people, which plays an important part of the business. And I had to get down to ground level and have interviews with the staff of the TCI Apparel to find out where did the business go wrong. Hearing from the people and hearing on those lost opportunities and learning on where the business really went wrong pointed me in the right direction. So the first part of me going on this new venture was the people. The second part was the customers. So customers in regards to, do we have the support if I take on this monster of a business? How long will the support be there for? And what can I bring to the table for them to give me those commitments? So I had to engage all these big retailers.
Those must have been some tough conversations. I can just imagine. Did they know you from before? Here they were used to working with the previous management. There's a new kid on the block per se. You're knocking on my door. Who are you? And can you really do what you say you do?
Yeah, that was interesting because I think that was the common question with all the retailers. Who are you? You know, have we seen you before? And I was working in the shadows for these retailers, but obviously via the grapevine. But with the other businesses that I had, it was easy for me to conceptualize this business plan and present it to them. And I think it all boiled down to the business plan. I think when they read the business proposal, it sparked some interest because I mentioned a few things in the proposal that they most probably wanted to hear. In regards to how would this business change and in which direction would it go to. So yes, it was interesting conversations around the table.
So people first, customer second. The third big thing you did?
Supply base. So you had to look at your supplier base, and I had to go through the history of the supplier base. How long did it exist? Who were the suppliers? And were we getting a fair deal or not?
There must have been some legacy relationships there, second, third generation. If the business began in the very early 60s, I'm sure some of the suppliers that originated then were the same suppliers when you came in.
Correct. So the business was established in 1968, so it's a long history. So they had long-standing suppliers that obviously built the relationships over the years. So those relationships were quite strong, and when I had to come on board, they didn't take too kindly to me asking those questions like, how long have you guys been here, and why is your price so expensive? You know, nobody wants to hear that.
Did they innovate at all during the time that they were there, or were they simply really taking instruction from Sir Dell, the business itself, to deliver the services that they had?
Now listen, it works two ways, because you've got to get some sort of direction from the customer, from Sir Dell, but I think it boils down to that business, that supplier. If he was innovative enough, he would have offered them obviously better service and better products. So I cannot critique them negatively in regards to their products. So they were innovative to a certain level, but with innovation must come affordability. And you can have all the innovation in the world, but if you can't afford it, and if it's amounting to huge losses, then you don't have a sustainable model.
You know, I would have loved to have done an assessment of the previous suppliers that were there, because I would imagine in an environment where an industry is taking massive strain, it's coming under pressure, the people, the owners, the entrepreneurs, the managers running those businesses must have looked at the environment and said, this is not necessarily a place where I'm going to invite my family to come in and continue the legacy of this environment. I'm worried about the future of the apparel industry, and probably they pushed their kids as family businesses into different parts of sectors and industries. And yet it's youth that brings in new thinking, it's youth that brings in innovation. It would be a fascinating case study, that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think, how do you build a legacy if it's not with your children? and your children's children. And it's strange because whenever I address my staff, especially towards when we round up the year, I always tell them that this business is a business not only for you, but you need to prepare it for your children and your children's children and your children's children's children, so they can understand the concept of it. And yes, it's sad because in the interviews I did with the staff, it was as if they had a voice, but it wasn't heard.
Let's just talk a little bit about that. How many people before you stepped in, during the turnaround period, how many people, and how many people today?
Okay, when we stepped in, there were 2,260 jobs that we had to save. So we successfully saved the 2,260 jobs. And when I had an interview with a few economists, they asked me, where do you see this business going? So I just put myself out there and I said, listen, you know, maybe in 6 months' time we'll grow the business by 20%. But we exceeded all expectations. And in the first 3 months, we grew the business to about 2,700. And we're sitting now with close to 3,000 employees.
Jeez, that's an amazing story. One last word on the suppliers. What do you expect of your suppliers today if they want to be part of this new vision? Because you're under pressure from your customers.
Definitely. Innovation, first most, is innovation, because they've got to create that demand for me. And they've got to be creative. So innovation, quality, delivery is all important. And on time, you know, on time and in full. We are doing a lot of speed-to-market programs with certain retailers. And to do speed-to-market programs, you've got to have suppliers that does not only sell your products, but their service delivery is exceptional, because their ability to get your product to your door as quick as possible will impact on our service delivery to our retailer or to our customers.
Fascinating story. So, Carl Jung, a psychologist who tutored under Freud a number of years ago, said it. We're trapped by the images of our past. It's not that we don't want to change. Rather, it's because we cannot see that we have to. So what holds us in this position? Is it a fear of change? Laziness? Complacency? Or is it simply comfort? Is it that if it ain't broke, don't try and fix a paradigm? Is it the devil's advocate in your team that prevents the change that might be necessary for your business to grow to its next level? Or is it the senior exec or manager who's run out of steam and is a year or two away from retirement? Businesses denying that the environment in which they operate has changed and do not respond to that change will die. It often happens over time, and the longer it takes, the more it costs. Building in tactics to ensure that as a business you're always in touch with changes that could and do take place is crucial to the sustainability, and it is the trait of an entrepreneurial leader. In a few minutes, we're going to take a look at a supplier that has embraced change to not only sustain their business, but grow it beyond the competitive landscape of product and price. It's a supplier that has become a key partner to Trade Call Investments Apparel's vision and growth. See you after that break.
Brought to you by Standard Bank, the bank for entrepreneurs. Standard Bank. Moving forward.